Picture this scenario because I guarantee it has happened to you at least once in the last 6 months. It is Friday morning. You wake up, you check your phone, and you see that beautiful direct deposit hit your account. You feel good, right? You feel secure. You might even decide to treat yourself to a slightly nicer lunch or finally click buy on that cart you've been building all week. But then, you blink. Suddenly it is Tuesday. You open that same banking app and your stomach just drops. You stare at the balance and think, wait a minute, I didn't buy a car. I didn't go to Vegas. I didn't lose my wallet. So where on earth did 40% of my paycheck go in 72 hours? It is the most frustrating feeling in the world. That sensation that your money has a hole in its pocket. You are working hard. You are putting in the hours. Maybe you even got a raise this year, but your net worth isn't moving. It feels like you are running on a treadmill that is slowly ramping up the speed, and you are just barely keeping from falling off the back. That feeling isn't an accident, and it's not because you're bad with numbers. It's because you are missing a fundamental rule about how small sums of money behave over time. My name is Bobby, and I spend way too much time thinking about the invisible mechanics of wealth building and the psychology behind why we spend what we spend. If you're someone who feels like you are earning decent money but somehow still living paycheck to paycheck, or you just can't seem to break through that savings plateau, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, we are going to fix this. We aren't going to talk about cutting out coffee because frankly, that advice is lazy and I'm tired of hearing it. We are going to talk about the $100 rule, a mathematical and psychological framework that, if you apply it for just 10 years, acts as a massive wedge that separates the wealthy from the working class. Here's the thing that drives me absolutely crazy when I look at standard financial advice. Most people believe that the solution to their financial stress is strictly an income problem. You tell yourself, if I just made another $10,000 a year, everything would be solved. But look, I have seen the data, and I have talked to enough people to tell you that is objectively false. There was a study released recently by PYLMN involving data from the Federal Reserve that showed a staggering percentage of people earning over $100,000 a year, I'm talking six-figure earners, are still living paycheck to paycheck. How is that mathematically possible? It's possible because of a phenomenon called lifestyle creep, or what economists call the hedonic treadmill. But those are just fancy words for a very simple, dangerous reality. Your spending has a magnetic attraction to your income. As soon as you make $1 more, your brain instantly finds a way to justify spending $1.10. You don't even notice it happening. It's the extra streaming service, the upgrade to premium gas, the slightly better wine. It's not one big decision, it's 1,000 invisible ones. This is where the $100 rule comes into play. Now you might be thinking, Bobby, come on, $100? That's nothing. That's a tank of gas and a dinner out. How is that going to change my life over a decade? And that attitude right there, that is exactly why you are stuck. The wealthy do not look at $100 as $100. They look at $100 as a seed. When you or I see a $100 bill, we see what it can buy today. We see consumption. When a financially independent person sees that same bill, they see a worker. They see an employee that never sleeps, never takes a sick day, and never complains. The core of the $100 rule is not about deprivation. It is about understanding the opportunity cost of your seemingly insignificant decisions. Most people don't realize that the money they blow on things they don't even remember buying 3 days later is actually worth 10, 20, or 30 times that amount in the future. We need to rewire your brain to stop seeing the face value of money and start seeing its future value. Here's the thing that absolutely blows my mind when I talk to people about their finances. The human brain, as brilliant as it is at pattern recognition and language, is fundamentally broken when it comes to understanding exponential growth. We are linear thinkers living in an exponential world. If I tell you to walk 30 steps, you know exactly where you'll end up. You'll be across the room. But if I tell you to take 30 exponential steps, where your stride doubles every time, you wouldn't just be across the room, you would be on the moon. Why does this matter? Because when you look at a recurring expense of $100, your linear brain does a very simple, very stupid calculation. You think $100 a month times 12 months is $1,200. Over 10 years, that is $12,000. You look at that $12,000 figure and you shrug. You think, sure, $12,000 is a decent amount of money, but over a decade, I can live without it if it means I get to enjoy my life today. And that right there is the lie. That is the mathematical error that keeps the middle class in the middle class. You are calculating the cost of the item, but you are ignoring the cost of the capital. You are ignoring what that money could have become if it had been working for you instead of for the corporation you handed it to. Let's look at the real numbers, and please pay attention to this because this is where the magic happens. If you take that same $100 a month, just $25 a week, which is basically a couple of fast food lunches, and you invest it in a standard, boring S&P 500 index fund that averages a historical 10% return, the math changes completely. In 10 years, you don't have $12,000, you have closer to $20,000. Now you might be thinking, okay, Bobby, an extra $8,000 is nice, but it's not life-changing. But wait, keep that going for another 10 years. Now you have nearly $76,000. Keep it going for 30 years, and that simple $100 decision has turned into over $226,000. Look at that number again. You put in $36,000 of your own cash over 3 decades, and you walked away with nearly $250,000. That is the $100 rule. Every time you commit to a recurring $100 expense, you aren't spending $100. You are destroying $250,000 of your future net worth. When you frame it like that, suddenly that premium cable package or that subscription box you never open seems a lot less appealing, doesn't it? Now, I know what you're going to say. I can hear the comment section typing already. But Bobby, inflation exists. That $226,000 won't be worth as much in 30 years. Yes, that is true, but it misses the point entirely. The point is about the habit and the direction of your wealth. If you are constantly bleeding these small $100 increments, you aren't just losing the money, you are losing the security that money buys. Most people don't realize that the stress they feel, that low-level anxiety that hums in the background when they try to fall asleep on Sunday night, is directly tied to their lack of liquidity. When you have zero margin for error, every flat tire is a crisis. Every unexpected medical bill is a disaster. The $100 rule isn't just about getting rich in 30 years, it's about buying your freedom now. It's about taking that $100 and buying a brick in the fortress of your financial independence. But the problem is, society is engineered to make you fail at this. We are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we deserve it, that we should treat ourselves. Well, I'm here to tell you that the best treat you can give yourself is not worrying about how you're going to pay your rent if you lose your job. So, if the math is so obvious, if the difference between being broke and being wealthy is just a few $100s invested consistently, why isn't everyone doing it? Why are smart, educated people still drowning in credit card debt? The answer lies in a concept from the 18th century called the Diderot effect. It's named after a French philosopher who bought a fancy new scarlet robe. It was a beautiful robe. But then he looked around his apartment and realized his old rug looked cheap next to the robe. So he replaced the rug. Then the chairs looked tattered, so he replaced the chairs. Before he knew it, he was in debt, all because of one robe. This is exactly what happens to us. You get the promotion, so you buy the nicer car. But the nicer car doesn't look right parked in front of the old apartment, so you move to a pricier complex. Now you need furniture that matches the new place. It is a spiral of consumption that feels necessary in the moment, but is actually just a psychological glitch. We are wired to seek status and novelty, and modern marketing is weaponized to exploit that glitch. They know that if they can get you to upgrade one part of your life, the rest will follow, pulling money out of your pocket every step of the way. Now, I promised you actionable steps, not just philosophy. You might be sitting there thinking, I don't have an extra $100. I'm squeezed tight. I am willing to bet you are wrong. I want you to try something for me. This weekend, I want you to do a forensic audit of your last 3 months of spending. Print out the statements. Actually print them out on paper. Don't just scroll on your phone. Take a red pen and circle every single recurring charge. Not the rent, not the electricity. I'm talking about the streaming services you forgot you had, the gym membership you use once a month, the premium software subscription you don't need. Most people who do this find between $50 and $150 of pure waste within 20 minutes. It is shocking. That right there is your seed money. That is your $226,000 waiting to be reclaimed. Once you have found the leaks, you need to plug them, but you also need a defense mechanism for the future. This is where the 72-hour rule comes in. It is simple, it is boring, and it works 100% of the time. Here is the rule. For any non-essential purchase over $100, you are legally forbidden from buying it for 72 hours. You can put it in the cart. You can take a screenshot of it, but you cannot pay for it. Walk away. If, after 3 days, you still feel that burning desire and you have the cash to pay for it twice over, buy it. But I guarantee you, 90% of the time, that urge will vanish. The dopamine hit of the want fades and your rational brain takes over. You will look at that item and realize you didn't actually want the thing. You wanted the feeling of buying the thing. By instituting this cooling off period, you stop the bleeding before it starts. This is where it gets really interesting. Once you start reclaiming these $100 chunks, you don't just stick them in a savings account to rot. You automate. You set up an automatic transfer that happens the day you get paid, before you even wake up, that moves that $100 into your investment account. You make wealth building invisible. You treat your savings like a bill that must be paid, just like your rent or your taxes. And sure, the first month, you might feel a little tighter. You might have to skip one dinner out. But by month 3, you won't even miss it. You will adjust. Humans are incredibly adaptable. You will live your life exactly as you did before, but now, in the background, quietly, silently. You are building a machine that is working for you. You are becoming the bank. And 10 years from now, when you look at that account balance and see a number that could pay off your mortgage or fund your kids' college, you won't remember the takeout you skipped. You'll just be thankful you started. So here is your challenge for this week. Find your first $100. It's hiding in your bank statement right now. Find it, cut it, and redirect it. If you do this, let me know in the comments what you cut. I love reading those stories. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to master your money instead of letting it master you. I'm Bobby, and I'll see you in the next one.